Spence News Network, where we get facts, not nonsense. So it is week 3 of the NFL, so it's another preview. I've decided that I'm going to make these weekly, or at least sub-weekly. It honestly depends on my schedule and the Formula 1 races. So let's get into the standings from last week. So my picks last week were mediocre at best. I think that they were not very good and a far cry. So the reason I originally did this is I had very good picks in week 1. I went 12-3-1. I had 12 picks correct. And I was like, oh, maybe I'd try displaying my picks on YouTube. But it seems that every time I display my picks on YouTube, they never work. So let's get into the standings. The 2-0 teams right now: the Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Miami Dolphins, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Buccaneers. I think that it'll be very interesting in the end. All the 2-0 teams can not become 2-0, but I think they're all or most of the 2-0 teams should win their games today, except for the Buccaneers, who are in a very close one in America's Game of the Week with the Green Bay Packers. And then you see some funny things. The NFC North has entirely different records. I think it's weird that the Detroit Lions are leading the division along with the Green Bay Packers. And yeah, the New York Jets are tied with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they're also tied with the Los Angeles Chargers, who are playing the Jaguars. So some very interesting things from the standings. So the 1 p.m. games for today. So there are 9 games at 1 p.m., a very busy 1 p.m. front. So Bears are going to play the Texans. I think the Bears will win that one. Hopefully redemption for my bad Bears pick last week. I should not have made that pick. It was a very stupid pick. The Saints are going to play the Panthers, and I think that the Saints should pull that one out. Raiders are going to play the Titans. Raiders, I think, will win that. The Ravens are going to play the Patriots. Interesting game. We've seen some big inactives, including actives that we didn't accept, including Kobe Myers. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. Bills versus Dolphins. I think the only matchup of 2-0 teams at all, and I think the Bills will win, and that does guarantee there will be one 3-0 team that will go into week 4, and at least one 3-0 team. I have picked most of the 2-0 teams to become 3-0. Chiefs versus Colts. I think the Chiefs are going to win. That's another 2-0 team in the Chiefs. The Bengals are going to play the Jets, despite the Jets' crazy comeback upset of the Browns. I think that the Bengals will win that one. Last week was crazy with all the crazy upsets. Some that nearly happened. I mean, up 2 scores at the 2-minute warning. You think you're good. Well, not last week. And then I was worried because I was watching the Notre Dame game, and I'm a Notre Dame fan in college football. They're up by 31, and I'm like, no, this game can't be sure yet. Not any other week I would, but that was just a crazy week. Vikings versus Lions. I think the Vikings will win. This is an NFC North Division matchup. And then Eagles versus Commanders. Curtis Samuel has been very, very solid in the first 2 weeks. If he can do that, that is the Commanders' path to victory. But I think that the Eagles are just here the better team. So the 4 p.m. These are 3 of the 4 p.m. games in the night game, because there is a game of the week, and I'm pretty sure most of you can guess what that game of the week is. So we have the Falcons, who are going to play the Seahawks, and I think that the Falcons will win that one. That's a bit of an upset. Neither of those 2 teams are really much good. Honestly, the Seahawks had a fluke win over the Broncos in week 1. But yeah, we'll see. Broncos versus Niners. That is Sunday Night Football tonight, and that is going to be good on the Broncos, who have looked pretty shaky with Russell Wilson so far, I think, through the first 2 weeks. But yeah, no, so that'll be interesting. The Rams are going to play the Cardinals. I'm going to pick the Rams. Jaguars versus the Chargers. Despite the Jaguars' swamping of the Colts, I do think that would be very interesting. Monday Night Football, Cowboys versus Giants. Probably the second biggest game of the week here. Cowboys-Giants, amazing. Amazing thing. I honestly should go because I don't have school Tuesday. But anyway. And like Cooper Rush, he looked very solid last week. He looked like he could be better than Dak Prescott, the way that Dak has kind of been dealing with injuries and not playing at his best. Really, I don't think we've seen him at his best for a consistent period of time, a few years. But I am going to pick the Giants. I think Cooper Rush is maybe would have been a fluke, maybe not, but that is honestly really something to see, and that is going to be a big game. So now to the game of the week. This is my game of the week. This is America's game of the week. This is everyone's game of the week. It's Bucs Packers. This is one of the big indicators to win the NFC. The two best teams of the NFC coming into the season, of course, there have been surprises. All 4 teams in the NFC North have played relatively well, and the Packers are no exception. They had a very good game against the Bears last week. Remember, I picked the Bears against 10-point odds, just overall, not even with spread. And they got swamped on one controversial play call that could have helped the Bears win the game on that Justin Fields touchdown run that definitely hit the pylon. Yes, it did hit the pylon. But the Bucs are favored by run 1 here. Keys to the game. Can Brady keep his cool and work with what he has? Mike Evans suspended. Chris Godwin out. They did pick up wide receiver Cole Beasley from the Bills. Last year was a very dominant force off the practice squad, and that could help. But so Scotty Miller, Russell Gage, Julio Jones, all currently questionable. Rashad Perriman. So that's really what Brady has to work with. Can the Packers offense stay hot in like last week? Week 1, people are saying that it was a fluke, and they really did not have an offense in week 1. Including a 75-yard dropped touchdown pass. So, yeah, and then which defense can you take? Because these are 2 of the best offenses in the NFL, and I think it is going to matter. But in the end, I think the Bucs defense can be able to hold the Packers, and I think that the Buccaneers will take this one 31-20. It's been another presentation of Finn's News Network, where I give facts, not nonsense.